Hi everyone, Jackie Hay here of HeyHayCreations. Today is January 29th, 2026. I am combining the last 7 days into one video because it's just been that busy. So here is the poem that my artwork is based off of. You can pause it if you like and read the poem. It's very short. And here is the preliminary sketch that I did, as well as the diorama box I used. And then some dolls in the corner that I was thinking about using for the witch doll that I ultimately made. But yeah, this was part of my planning process. I'm just kind of going over what I'm thinking, having spooky trees and a witch doll. And here I am, I decided to paint the wooden diorama box black. And now I'm just adding in the background colors for my scene. There's the Starry Night, which is a dark blue color. I thought that would pop nicely with the orange pumpkins. And then some brown and green for the grassy area in the background. I will end up adding some different materials like wool for the clouds and then small pieces of grass. After that, I made my sleepy moon sculpture. He would be hanging in the corner of my Starry Night scene. And I do use polymer clay and glass eyes. And here you can see I'm using a dental tool. It's my favorite sculpting tool to use. You can find them on Amazon. But yeah, this was the beginning of my project, working from back to front. Now, as you can see, I'm working on a couple spooky trees in the corners. I like to build up the trees with aluminum foil, and then I add my polymer clay. I'm pointing out how the clouds are made of sheep's wool, and here is the finished sculpture of the trees. And here it is all painted. I really like how it turned out. Part of the tree is coming out of the background and then some of it's painted. And then as you can see, I have all kinds of little pieces of, I'm not sure what it is for the grass. It's like little threads, but it came together really nice. I like the combination of paint and sculpture and fiber art. Here I'm working on the next step of my project, which is the fencing and the pumpkins that go on the fencing. Each pumpkin is a unique little face. They all have a smile because the theme is Jubilant Jacks. But again, they are all very different. When I'm sculpting, my fingers are my favorite tool, the best tool you can use. And here I am adding the layers of paint. If you look on the bottom of the pumpkin, you can see how I have a hole so that they can sit on the fence post, but also they can be removed. You'll see in the next scene that I used, they're actually like little model telephone poles that I cut up for the pegs for the pumpkins. And then I used wooden shims that I cut down, and then to create the wooden texture I used hot glue and I used plaster to put it all together. And as I paint over the hot glue, you can see it creates a wood grain or a faux wood grain. Okay, so here is the background and the pumpkins all put together. It turned out really nice. I'm just demonstrating here how the pumpkins can pop off of the pegs. You can put them on or off. They do kind of need to stay in this order. I found they seem to fit the best if you follow this video and put them on the pegs in that order. And here is my sleepy moon and the trees all painted. I added some faux moss and some mushrooms and some straw. Okay, so now we are going to make the witch doll. And to start, I used one of these plastic dolls. I get them on Amazon pretty cheaply. They are really easy to customize. I figured out that if I just take the face off, I can add my own head and I can still swivel the head once I put it all back together. So that's what I'm doing here. I just cut out the face and I'm removing the hair. Okay, and I decided to go with acrylic paint to paint the body. So you'll see that I'm sanding the body down just so the acrylic paint sticks really nicely. And then I did add resin to the hands and feet so that the paint would not rub off. I had some issues with the oil paint and I tried to dye the body, but it didn't work out. So now I am filling in the face with aluminum foil and adding polymer clay so you can see the start to my witch face. This is kind of the scary part where they look kind of weird, but she did end up looking really cute in the end. If your sculpture looks funny, just keep going and you will eventually get there. Okay, and here she is painted with all her little freckling and her eyebrows and all the little details. She really did turn out super cute. Since she's a pumpkin witch, I went with an orange coloring and then I hand dyed some sheep's wool green to kind of give her that pumpkin look. Okay, and here she is. She's all finished. Look how cute she turned out. I took some antique costuming I had and I altered it to suit her. But first, let's take a look at the broomstick. I used a faux branch and I cut it up to create the stalk or the stem of my broom. And then I have some faux straw that I gathered and I glued and tied it to the base to create my cute little broom that she's going to sit on in the sky. And here is her costuming. I just love how it turned out. I love the colors and the lace. I added some little buttons and then the fabric that is lining the dress. It reminds me of Beetlejuice. It's this black and white striped fabric. I'm also showing you that I have a tie on her pantaloons so that she can be fastened to the broom. Looking at her face, she has glass eyes and a cute little tooth hanging out of her mouth. But yeah, I'm just kind of going around showing you all the little details, the brooches and the buttons and the lace. I did make the hat from scratch. I just used, I think it's a linen, but it kind of looks like a burlap. The hat is made from scratch and she has some ribbon that ties around her neck. And here is the doll, like one of the examples of the dolls I use, so you can see how it started out and how she came out in the end. I just find it so fascinating that you can go from a cheap little doll and make it look so nice and so high-end and so custom to what the artist wants or what you want. One of the cool things about these dolls is they are posable, and here she is with her little pumpkin, so you can take them on or off the diorama. I just love how it turned out. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.